Hello there and warm welcome to Super I, your television program that brings a searchlight on the ills of the society. I'm Adeke Owoye Ajiboye. Yesterday on the program, we want to bring to you what's been happening in the highbrow estates of Isheri and Opik estate of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. And now for a few days, they have had to battle a flood of waters, and of course I remember that I did a special report on that very community last year. As it is, residents, some of them have had to abandon their homes, while some abandon their homes to seek refuge, far distance away from their community, while some are just still who do not have where to go had to manage with the situation. They use canoe for them to be able to gain access into their homes, and really this is an eyesore. So this is the reason why Super I visited this community this week. So we bring you that report quickly. Flood has continued to ravage Isheri North, located in Ogun and Lagos State of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. In this community, beautiful houses are built in different estates, and the unfortunate aspect is that the residents here live in fear due to the flood that wreaks havoc with no end in sight. This is Caterpillar area in Isheri, North GRA. In this area, residents of this community have lived with this situation for over 8 years, and one wonders what government is doing to address the situation. The question is, these people have continued to bear the brunt of this very challenge. So which way forward? Let's talk to one or two people in this area because it appears that the government has not been truthful about helping these people. Okay, now this you can see how the water spread across everywhere. Even the sellers, they're finding it difficult to cope with the situation.
Medina, my name is Medina.
Whenever the dam is open, the water flows into the estates and even spread across the various streets. So I feel the government should find where the water can be directed to such that it does not flow into the estates.
This water is every year that I normally worry us. This last year we see this water, and this one we even happy that we see more this thing, because last year we are staying in that front. All landlord, they leave their house, park their load like a month. Nobody come to house. It's only security that will be securing their house before they come back. Before they come, all their house they have been messed up. No one, everything has scattered.
I'm a bricklayer.
Okay.
But my name is Samuel Adibayo.
Okay.
And I'm 22 years. Government to find anything to do for us, because where we are getting now is getting tired. It's getting tired. There's no work, no way to pass. Because if there is a way, we are going to see work to do. Now, if our youth go outside now and started thieving, the government will say they can't work, they can't do this thing. But you people can see now, see water, see where we are working. Can you imagine? See, there's no way, there's no anything. We can't eat, we can't work, we can't do anything. Government to find anything to do for us.
The flood water rises whenever water is released from the Onyo Dam by the Ogun Oshu River Basin Authority. As a result, residents and business owners are affected, while many have abandoned their homes to seek refuge at dry lands far away from the community. Others stay indoor patiently, praying for the water to reduce for them to continue their regular activities.
Let me start by saying I came into this estate in 2019. Before I came, I never knew there was an estate like this before. But ever since 2019, I've been helping them to battle the water. But I know the water has been troubling them before that 2019. So I can only tell on my own experience since 2019. 2019 was the first flood I will experience. I was the greatest one I've been told that has come to give them issues here. But and since then, the estates have been doing one thing or the other. Even before 2019, from what I heard, they've been trying to keep the water in the river. But let me say, everything they've done has in one way helped, but it doesn't hold. It doesn't hold. You see, what I've seen from the water is that it's going on its path, but the path at which it's going is too full for it to go through. So it's looking for other ways to just branch to. So our estate is one of the other places it branched to. So the estates have tried to do embankments. We've tried the block work embankments. It failed at some points. We also decided to reinforce it with lateral tips, and that will hold for most parts of the flood till maybe the later end of it, when we'll have one issue. Once we have a collapsed area like this, the entire estate is flooded again. And before now, we've been thinking that the flood is coming from just the river. No, we've not been thinking, but most of the water comes from the river. Let me put it that way. But the actual problem is that we are surrounded by this water. This area has about four sides to it. It's only one side of it that is not that the water is not coming in through. So the remaining three side is bringing the water into the estate, and we've mostly battled the back because that's where the most of the water comes from. But now we need to look into the other inlets too. See, the water has been for about 4 months, 4 weeks now, but it didn't affect us until last week,
Helen? Yep. Yes.
which was when the portion of the embankment collapsed. When the portion of the embankment collapsed, that's the one coming from the river. Then that came with the pressure, and everywhere begins to feel the flood. Before then, it was maybe just some areas where we don't have people staying because of the embankment work we've done. To those areas, we didn't really feel the effects until when the portion of the embankment collapsed, and that was last week. That was when everything just scattered.
Sadly, businesses here are in comatose until the water dries. Students abandon studies as their schools become a pool and not safe for swimming. Residents say the flood lasts for weeks before it gets dry. In every bad situation, there is a corresponding advantage. The flood has created a business opportunity, opening some of the residents here to canoe business. This is because some people cannot afford to dip their feet in the water, and worse still is that the water is salty and dangerous. It wasn't easy for a super screen crew to access this very community. We tried to go inward to see the level of the water.
Yes, this is Isheri Riverview Estate. And as you can see, these men are always on standby here to guide whoever wants to go, of course, on this journey, because I'm going to call this a journey. Now, all these places that you're looking at used to be, it's a road. And now, because of the water, everywhere is flooded and this place become waterlogged. So right about now, I am going to go on this canoe, and one of them, of course, will take us through this water so we can know how deep this water is, and then call for the appropriate quarters to do what is expected of them. I just hope I'm safe. Well, they have assured me that I have nothing to be afraid of. All right. So maybe right about now, I just need to say the Lord's Prayer. so I don't fall into this water. Well, it looks like it's funny, but the situation is not funny to residents of this area. So we are going to embark on this journey. Some residents, as a stand, have been constrained to remain in their houses, while some landlords, and when I say landlords, I mean very rich landlords, have had to abandon their houses due to this very flooding. Now, I must tell you that just last year, the Ogun State government and the Lagos State government actually came to inspect this place to see the level of damage being done. And I remember that I posed the question to the Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun, and of course even the minister then, and they promised that they would find a lasting solution to this situation. But unfortunately, this is almost a year after, and the situation has remained the same. The question many are asking is government truly concerned about these people? Now, if the residents here have continued to face the situation for over 8 years, you now wonder why government has up until now be unable to contain the situation. Now, for you to even apply this water, some of the residents have started a brisk business here because now being on this boat, you pay as high as 3,000 naira for you to go to wherever you want to go here. And so it's not a good time. It's not palatable. Yes, many are even complaining about a fuel and its price, but I tell you that even Kano is now even expensive. But something just needs to be done. Something needs to be done before there is a bad record.
We're told how dangerous the water is, and I told myself I cannot afford to dip my leg into this water. But no matter how much we tried, we still found our legs in the water.
Going down, that the water is still coming up, and the erosion here is something else. So it's putting their boat, if they're coming towards this side now, it's hard for them to even come out because of the erosion that's going down.
So now in this water, I'm sure that this water definitely is not safe. So what kind of reptiles have you seen here? Have you experienced seeing any dangerous animals?
We have lots here now. We have pythons. Sometimes we do see pythons. Sometimes all this alligator, crocodile, all those things are here. But it's not, it's just that they're not that common.
Okay.
So once in a while, we do come across them.
So when you see them, what do you do? Have you ever killed any of them?
Yeah, there's one bros that normally kills those things inside.
Really?
Yes.
So when you see it, you quickly go and bring him on?
If you work exactly towards in that moment, but if you want to wait and go and call person, maybe before you come back, you must have leave the place.
So now, since you people are the one, I mean, doing this, helping people to cross over with the boat, when do you close? Because it will be dangerous for you to stay here till night, right?
No, this is not something that has mastered us now. We just we have witnesses, not today. It's not something that is just
starting.
So you can stay till 9 o'clock. There's nothing that will happen.
Really? Well, I'm amazed. Well, I think no human being should be comfortable in this kind of situation. Honestly, thank God we returned safely. Well, I think that I just have to go to church and give testimony. And that is for you to know that, for you to imagine what the residents here go through. Because, I mean, going on the water, I had my heart in my mouth. That's the truth. But the appeal really at this moment is just for the Lagos and Ogun State government, of course, with the federal government, for them to come together and rescue these people, because I think they need to be rescued, actually. Still talking about how unsafe this water is. I mean, it's dangerous, really. Behind, as you can see, that is an alligator on the fence right there. And so what that means is that some of these reptiles can actually crawl into the houses of residents in this area. Well, all we can just say right now is for the government of Lagos State and Ogun State, plus the federal government, to come together and quickly contain the situation before we start hearing stories of snakes and reptiles are biting residents here.
Well, that's the report you can see for yourself. So right about now, we are being joined by the Honorable Commissioner for Environment, Ogun State, ladies and gentlemen, because it is important for us to hear from the appropriate quarters what the development is in this very community. Join me to welcome Ola Oresoya, the Honorable Commissioner for Environment, Ogun State. Good morning, sir.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Right. And good day.
All right, beautiful. So, sir, quickly, let's hit the nail on the head. We are still on the sorry tale of, let me say, rich landlords in the Isheri north of course, between Lagos and Ibadan. I would like you to update us on what the government of Ogun State is actually doing in responding to the plight of these residents, sir.
Well, first, let me start by saying that the level of energy will dissipate to these incidents when it occurs. If we have deployed the same energy during early part of the year when the government gave advice on what's going to happen in that area, probably things will have been a lot better. Early part of the year, we gave an advice, we gave a press release, and that is immediately after the national flood outlook released by NIMET and by Nigerian Hydrological Report about the rainfall pattern and the flow we ought to do. Investigate this report, and we mentioned areas that are floodplains that are going to be susceptible to flood, as recognized under the national prediction also because of their geographical location. This Isheri area is one of the critical areas
Hello, sir.
we mentioned. We mentioned we have a lot of states there, and these new estates, because of the nearness to Lagos, most people who cannot live in Ikoyi or highbrow area develop these estates without taking advice on the geographical location and the vulnerability that they have in that area. So now we have to live with that problem almost every year because they have built right inside floodplain. They have built right floodplain. Can I go ahead, please?
Please write on. We are all ears.
All right. So all we have to do now is that a mistake has occurred. You have a private estate there, you have a government estate there, all of them built without the appropriate infrastructure that can make the place habitable. For example, look at the Eco Atlantic, right inside water. They are building there. And at the level at which the sand reclamation there is almost at between 9 and 10 meters high of sand reclamation. So once you can operate at a particular height, the tolerable height, you can live anywhere. The opposite is what you have on the Isheri. There is no elevation. There is no elevation above the flood level. And that is why we keep having this recurring problem every year. People are built almost at the flood level. They are built below the road level. Now we have to, what we set out to do was, we did a lot of dredging in the area, and Ogun River Basin Authority is also doing dredging there. And the road have to be elevated. Once the roads are elevated, all the houses there, it's either you demolish your house or you reconstruct your house completely. So there are medium-term and long-term solutions to the place, and they're not going to happen overnight. But the good news is that we have started. We have started with the palliatives. We have started with information dissemination, technical advice, and that is the first step we are supposed to take. And we have taken that, and we continue. We are not going to leave our people alone there. Mistakes have been committed both on the side of the people, on the side of government. We have inherited this problem, but we must solve it. And that's where we are. That's where we are.
That's a good one. I love the fact that you come to terms with the fact that it's a mistake on the part of government, and of course the people also have their own blames. Because I was there and I saw that some residents that their own areas are not, or let me say their own estates are not affected. It is a conscious effort and personal effort for them to raise their own roads in such a way that this water does not flow into their houses. Now, you said that you are going to begin the work, or you have started. You mentioned the fact that with palliatives and what have you. So, but how soon are you going to begin work there? Because I can remember vividly that last year, the ministers and even the governor of Ogun State himself promised that they would find a lasting solution, which was to begin in earnest, which has not happened up until now. How do you react to this?
No, the last year, we've started this lasting solution. Like I told you, there are immediate term interventions, there are medium terms, and there are long term interventions. All right. This is a problem of so many years. You cannot eliminate it within few months. And you say that no. What we said we're going to do, the dredging of the tributaries to Ogun River, we have done that. The state government did that. We did a lot of dredging in that community early in the early part of the year. We said we are going to control, we are going to manage the Onyo Dam. We're going to be so involved with the management of the Onyo Dam so that we give our people advice on what will happen. We have been doing that consistently. We give our people information about Onyo Dam, about the dynamics of the dam, everything like that. We have been doing that right away. So we are not relenting on our efforts in that direction. Now, the medium-term solutions are the road elevation, and that has to do with the design. That has to do with appropriating budget, award of contracts. That will take years to be completed, and the work have started. We have done the design of that one. It's just for award of contract to go ahead. That's on the Ogun State side. Now, on the side of the national government, and we have to construct dike around the Ogun River. That's a federal appropriation. We have to dredge the Ogun River completely across from Lagos to, from Ogun State end to Lagos State. And that's a national assignment. And even last week, we have a member of the National Assembly visited because there's a bill already with them, okay, to appropriate funds for that project. So they came part of their oversight function to come and look at that site just last week and to see for themselves, to relate to the problem, they can appropriate fund adequately for it. So these are part of the medium-term approach to the whole process. And now the long-term is the whole area have to be replanned, and resettlement, proper resettlement has to be done in that projection. So people settle there without infrastructure to support human habitation in that area. That's just it.
Done for even deciding to oblige our interview, because what we find out in most cases, and that is where this work becomes very difficult for us. But as members of the Fourth Estate of Rem, continue to try to put government on their toes to deliver, of course, the dividends of the seat. I mean, that is of my findings. I realized, or let me say, filling the polls of people, I realized that on your dam itself, there are allegations that some foreign individuals actually use it to fish. What do you say to this, sir? Because I saw that, and if you're going to look at my reports, you're going to see that some individuals, like they say that in every sad situation or bad situation, some people would always see a reason for it to be advantageous to them. I saw a man moving, setting traps in that water and caught fishes. So how do you speak to this? Do you say, is this true or not? That some individuals, foreign individuals, are fishing with that very water. And that is why that there is a certain time that they, on your dam, are supposed to release the water. But because of their fishing activities, they leave it there.
I can't hear you again.
Okay, can you hear me now, sir?
I can hear you now, yes.
Okay, I said that some residents allege that some individuals,
Yes,
foreign
I heard
individuals,
that.
actually
I heard that.
use this very water from the Onyo dam to fish, say a kind of fish pond. And so this is the reason why there is a certain time that they release the water, that there's a way they can do it, that this water level will not rise this much. But because of the purpose that it is serving, which is for the foreign individuals to fish, that is the reason why they leave this water to accumulate this much.
No, I think that is a conspiracy theory that has no relevance with the release of the water. I say that we're involved. I'm an hydrogeologist, and as part of my profession, as part of being an environmentalist, I monitor this so well. There's nothing. The purpose of a dam, all right, why do you have a dam? A dam is to detain water for irrigation, that's agricultural purpose, for electricity generation, for water production, and also for recreation. That's the essence of a dam, and even to control flooding. Okay, now the water area is used during drought. That's during drought. During can be used for agricultural purpose. So that's exactly what we are doing with the water there. So now that they have to release the water from the dam, whether they are using it for irrigation, for livestock production, or whatever, they release that water. Okay, and what they are releasing right now is a function of what is coming from the northern part of the country. It's from the northern part of the country. Okay, it's transboundary flow and is a function of the rainfall. It's a function of the rainfall, and they have to release what they have to release. And whether they release water or not, what is causing the problem in that area now, from the water they have to release, what is causing the problem is the rise in the sea level. The sea level rise there. These are people within the shoreline. If it's the Onyo Dam water release alone that is causing the problem, the whole of Abeokuta should have been in problem. Okay? But the water has to come and enter into the lagoon. But because the lagoon has risen by almost 1.14 meters on the 18th of October, the lagoon level rose to 1.14 meters. That's above 1 meter. That's a lot. And that will impede any kind of flow into the lagoon. Naturally, there will be a splash, there will be a spillover at the back. And that's exactly what the point is. We are contending with a natural issue, natural event here. We are contending natural event, and there's not much you can do about that. It's a natural thing that is nature. Nature must react. You cannot stop rain. And if you don't release water from the dam, you can have a tendency of a failure of a dam. God forbid us having the kind of failure they have at Alao Dam in Borno State. We don't want such a thing to happen. So Oyo Dam must release water to avoid disaster. If they have to detain water, then there will be problem. So all the conspiracy theory that somebody is farming there, you are on the other upstream of the dam, you are there to do fishing. And that's why you are there for. So forget about the conspiracy theory about somebody's because somebody is farming, somebody is fishing. No. Don't let us just explain fundamental issues away from from minor issue that has no reference to what we're talking about.
Then, let me say, as a government, what are you actually doing to help these people at this moment? Because, of course, while I was also there, we saw a dangerous reptile in that water. In fact, the water is so bad that even myself, when so the water actually got to my feet, and till now, I'm still feeling it, honestly. And I saw people that it damaged their legs. We also saw a reptile, a dangerous one for that matter. So what's your plan for the safety of this residents, sir?
First thing we told our people in April this year, this advice to our people, elevate from that area. For now, I was even there last week to talk to our people.
Yeah. Sorry, Sonia, can you hear me? Okay, I think we have a bad network. So right about now, you've just heard we've been speaking to the Commissioner for Environment, Ogun State, Ola Oresoya, and so far has been able to debunk the belief of residents and what have you. And he was just talking about what the Ogun State government is actually doing at the moment to ensure the safety of this resident. And of course, he said that before now, they have been a prior warning to the people to leave that place for their safety. But what can they do? Sometimes it's pretty difficult for you to leave your home and then say that you're staying somewhere. It might not be that easy, you know, it might not be that easy. Then what do we talk? What about the businesses that are already in comatose? And these businesses would have to wait. What about the schools? Now, students or pupils who attend schools in this environment, many of them have to, you know, hold on with their studies pending when the water reduces or the ground becomes dry enough for them to apply. So, well, right about now, let's quickly take a short break, and when we return, we'll see if we can still connect with the Commissioner for Environment, Ogun State. So, let's take the right back. Yes, welcome back from that break. Of course, earlier we were speaking with the Commissioner for Environment, Ogun State, but unfortunately the network was bad. But good enough, we are connected again with the Commissioner, of course, virtually. So back to discussion. Commissioner, sir, can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly, loud and clear.
Back to discussion, which is still on the Isheri flooding and how it affects the residents. You were explaining earlier, but I think I should also make you listen to one of the residents. Of course, is the immediate past chairman in that very community. Because part of there's some questions, or there are some things he pointed out in regards to that very flooding, which I would want you to hear. Can we quickly do that now?
Yeah, I think I listened to him, the elderly man.
Oh, you heard him? Okay.
Yes, I heard him. I heard him clearly when you interviewed him about the court issues and the rest of it.
Oh, really? Oh, I never knew you were online there. Okay,
online,
for the benefit of our viewers, can we just quickly take a listen to him?
All right.
Thank you, sir.
line you see there is roughly where the flood was.
Okay.
Roughly. Now, what you see here is about 5 inches below what we have today.
Okay.
It's 5 inches below the 2023 flood. And the water they are sending now is about 19 million cubic meters a day. In 2023, it was about 25 million cubic meters a day. Because we are now talking about percentages of days. I mean, covering up what it is that is happening. The important thing is this. They say we are on a floodplain, because I'm going to tackle the questions. But I'll tell you, mile 12 to Ikorodu town, is it not also on the same floodplain? Yes, people go through Ajegunle, Owode, Odogun, Itowolo, yes, and they pass through. Now in 2010, for 8 weeks, it was very difficult to pass along Ikorodu because of this flood. Okay. Because they were doing a study, EIA study for PRT scheme then, of course they gave them the recommendation they should raise the level of the road. So of course, they raised the level of the road and Ikorodu road is passable today. So in the same way,
so if we had also raised...
yes, even if we adopt such remedies, I mean, I don't know, then
we wouldn't find ourselves in this situation.
We would not find ourselves here. But the point now is this. I said 2007, there was the flood for the first time.
Exactly.
Now it was at a certain level. 2010, 3 years later, there was a flood. It was half, you know, I said I feel this place 1 meter high. It was half a meter higher. So half a meter of that, my feeling, disappeared. This line you see here now, that one, is 0.85 of a meter above 2007 level.
Okay.
This brown line you see at the bottom of that my gate.
This very one.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So I want you to understand. If you look on the wall, so you will see. If you look at the wall there, you can see it. Now, so how have we arrived at this point? It may surprise you that in the 1990s there was no flood, because the reservoir at Oyo Dam was being operated in a certain way. All through the year, from December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, they will release water. They will not release water in August, September, October, and November, in that period. That is, they emptied the dam by the end of July, and then they started filling back through August to November. And except 1 year, 1993, there was no flood. But what do we have today? Around 2011, 2012, the Ministry of Water Resources got some arrangements with some fishing companies. And so did some MOU. And now they started doing fish cage farming on the reservoir at Oyo Dam Reservoir. Now that's against the law. The law that established the River Basin Authority was very clear. They have 4 things that were their priority.
Which were?
Irrigation, flood control, erosion control, and watershed management. There was no mention of aquaculture. They tried to tell us a multipurpose dam. Yes, a dam can be multipurpose, but the law says that it should be used for 4 things and no more. But they've decided to use it for fish cage farming, and they have abandoned flood control.
Okay, sir. I love the fact that you're taking us down memory lane, history, how we got to where we are. I remember at a point in time, the Ogun State governor was here, and some of the ministers came here. And I posed the question to them that from some quarters, it is here that they use this dam for fishing and what have you. But he actually debunked that. My question is, why hasn't the residents come together to actually, take the government to court? Because if you know your right, why wouldn't you fight for it?
Well, the question of going to court for each and every one of us is a matter of our individual choice. When you have a large number of people, it's difficult to get them to agree on what to do. And that is one major thing that is against that.
Yes, Honorable Commissioner, sir, are you still there with us?
Yes, I'm here with you. I'm
All
with you.
right. So I would want you to react to some of what the immediate past chairman of that community is saying.
Well, yes, I heard him clearly, and honestly, I don't want to be in contention with him with some of the facts that he puts out. But let me tell you one thing that probably he needs to know. When you say a dam is a multi-purpose dam, that means the dam can be used for several things. And one of the things you use dams for all over the world is the livestock farming, fish farming. All right. What if a dam's objective is to detain water, okay, for flood control? What will you be using the water you detain for? It's going to be hiding away. You'll be looking at the water. Fishes live inside water. So if the dam is not meant for fishing, then that means the dam will be releasing water all the time, and you'll be having flood. So for the dam to have detained the water for whatever reason, maybe for irrigation, for agricultural purpose, that means you are detaining water so that you can use it during the period of drought. So I think there's a bit of contradiction there from the past chairman. And I would love to have his number so I can explain more to him. Then the second aspect of, he mentioned the fact that when he moved in the 90s, there was no flood. I agree with him. Okay. How many houses do we have there in 1990s? I'm sure they can count. Maybe less than 100 houses within the floodplain. However, now go and look at the thousands of constrictions, of obstructions they've given to even the natural valleys there. People block the natural path of the water. And a lot of them, you have more houses that are not allowing percolation. If water has been aggregating in 1 hectare of land before, and water has been percolating, right now, 3/4 of that 1 hectare is already a concrete. Where will the water percolate again? The excess water will be flowing. They built up the whole area and they are still building the area. And we are only calling for anarchy. And that is the essence of what we have there now. And I'm not putting all the blame at the footstep of the residents. All of us, we have our own blame. We have our own blame about development control in that place. The place was left to develop uncontrolled for several years. So these are the things we have to correct. If we have inherited this problem and we have to correct it, then we all have to work together, both the government and the people. And I don't want the resident to now start be putting the blame on his government, his government, his government. No, we have joint responsibility around that area. And in the interest, in their own interest, it's better to cooperate with government. And I like what he said. Okay, because you asked me a question, why have you not gone to court? I'm sure if they go to court, well, there must be a breach of agreement. And where is the agreement that you had? I mean, if the government wants to take them to court too, it's a different ball game, because there are a lot of houses there with that don't have approval, and some pick up their approval in error, and the rest of it. So it's not a matter of going to court; it's a matter of let us all work together to make the place habitable. He talked about the Korodu Road. After the EIA was done, go and look at the Korodu Road. They have to elevate when the BRT lane, Lamata constructed the road. And that's exactly what we said is going to happen in that estate. The first thing first, we did the dredging. The second thing is to elevate. You have to elevate. It's not going to happen overnight. And I think I mentioned a part of my comment earlier. It won't happen overnight. It has to be a joint effort. Thank you.
On your dam, because part of what he also said is that the way it wasn't gated, like it was supposed to be gated to also prevent that water from, spreading to their community. Commissioner, can you hear me now, sir?
I hear you now. Yes.
Okay. So now I love the fact that you are able to say that yes, government has its own faults, and of course the people also have their faults. And I think why Mr. Omigbodu is not also if you can see his own place is dry, it is because of his own personal effort in raising, his road. And he said that's what other people who bought lands around there are also benefiting. So be that as it may, let me get your final say in regards to how the people should keep up and, a form of encouragement for the people.
Well, like I said, we have to work together, and we all have to correct the wrongs of the past. We all made this error, both the residents and government in that area. We all have to correct the wrongs. So let them follow us as we are making progress. We have started the rehabilitation work together, and they need to work with us. That's my advice.
All right, beautiful. At this juncture, let me say many thanks to you, Honorable Commissioner, for obliging us. And I hope when next we call again, you will always do as you have been doing. Thank
Definitely.
you so much, sir.
Thank
and
you.
We wish you
It's
a
my
beautiful
pleasure.
day.
Thank you very much.
And
Thank
see
you
as
very
well, of course, to the governor himself, Governor Dakwabiodun. All right, viewers, we have been speaking with the Commissioner for Environment, Ogun State, and you have heard yourself, they will begin work on that very road. So let's just keep our fingers crossed and hope that this time around, as they have promised, there will be a kind of a relief for the residents of that
community. But in that while, at this point in time, let me also let you hear more of what Mr. Omigbodu also said. So let's quickly take a listen to that.
But the point is this: we have a government. The government has laws. We are people of laws. And why are they not willing to follow the law that they created themselves? Because you said you asked them a question. Yes, I was there at OPIC on 25 October 2023. Before the Ogun State governor, yes, I spoke. And the two ministers. Exactly. And I made it clear to them what needed to be done. And I will spell it out again.
Okay, sir. For the purpose of this very story we're doing, documentary, because this is a problem that has, stayed for so long. Some people even said it started in 2006, but we found 2011, but we found out that it's 2000, which you have confirmed to us.
I was there.
Since
I was there
2007. So that's the first time they experienced that very dam being opened. So. As it stands now, what do you think is the solution to this very challenge?
Now, I've said what I pointed out, that there is 4 specific things they are supposed to do. If there's going to be a solution, they have to do those things. Now, where we stand today, there are 2 settlements on the River Ogun, north of this place, Magbon, Ilate, if I get the name correct. And in that area is a low-lying area. So when they send a huge volume of water from the reservoir, above 10 million cubic meters a day, a big lake is formed there. And then the second channel for the Ogun River takes off there. And that thing comes directly to the Long Bridge. In fact, it reaches the area along Punch Place. And the question is this: Punch Place is about more than 3 kilometers from the river. Will you say it's on the floodplain? Will anybody say that that area is on the floodplain? So we have to understand that the water finds a path when they send down too much water. And it's that water that goes through Ogun State and comes through the back here to us here, which is what you see here. So that, if anybody is going to do anything, you have to plug such places where the water can come across. And if necessary, because of the huge volumes of water that we now have, maybe, as I've said, in the 1990s there was no flood. Maybe there was not so much water then, but there's a lot more water now. And then they have to do an embankment along the River Ogun, at least for us there. But there are places where the water can come into surrounding areas. They have to block those areas. They have to plug them. If they do that between Magbon and Ilate, we will not have, I mean, half of our problem will be solved. The problem now will only be from the river. There won't be anything coming from the north, from the Ogun State into us here. So that's one thing.
Okay, number two.
Now, the other thing is this. It may be difficult for people to understand, but government has to take an interest in what people are saying. When I spoke last year, there was an attempt to shut me down that I should only talk about what is happening here and not elsewhere. Because as I've said, there's an illegality. The fishing companies should not be in that reservoir. Pure and simple. And I was going to say, we have asked that they should be, the authorities should move them out of the lake and let them use their own money to create their own fishing pond. They cannot use space that has been created for other Nigerians to inflict suffering on Nigerians. It doesn't make sense. And that's why I said it may take difficulty for people to understand that they think they are doing commercial fishing or something. No. It's against the law.
Even at the detriment of the people.
No, I said no. But something could be at the detriment of the people. But I'm saying this is against the law. There's the law that established the River Basin Development Authorities. It gives them 4 priority functions. It's not a question of multi-purpose functions. 4 priority: irrigation, flood control, erosion control, watershed management. No more. Nothing about fish aquaculture. It's not there in the law. And so they should concentrate. That's why I'm not going on the purposes. That is what. That if they concentrate on the purposes, because you know there's something we have not said now. We have been talking about Onyo Dam. That dam is supposed to have 270 million cubic meters capacity. There's another dam on the River Ogun. This one is on Onyo. That one is on Onyo. There's a much bigger dam at Isheri Gorge. It has a capacity of 690 million cubic meters. President Obasanjo inaugurated a irrigation project there, Middle Ogun irrigation project they call it, in 2006. That dam was not gated then. Today it's still not gated 18 years later. Why? They should explain. Why is the dam at Isheri Gorge not gated? Because also it can be used for flood control. It's part of the system. Okay. If they hold the water back there, less will be coming from Isheri towards us, and the one that they bring from Onyo will not overwhelm us.
Oh, right.
But at the moment, the water flows over the top of the dams because it's not gated at Isheri Gorge. So that's why I said there are so many facets to it. And then they try to tell us it's climate change. No, that's not the issue. Or that it's the lagoon or the sea that is holding us up. And I always tell them that if it is the sea that is holding us up, how come if Papa Wharf is not flooded? Maybe that's the nearest thing to the sea. And so if the sea is holding us back, then of course the rise will occur there and we flood the wharf. So all these things they throw at us to avoid the central issue, that what they are doing at the moment is illegal, and they should put a stop to it and concentrate on what the law says they should do, and we'll be okay.
All right, beautiful. Okay, I must say it's a pleasure. Talking to you. At least you've been able to help us shed light on the grey areas, basically. But one thing you didn't do is you didn't introduce yourself.
Yes,
so what's the name?
I'm Dr. Akintola Omigbodu. I'm a civil engineer by training.
So you have been here how many years ago?
Well, because you see, I do not like to be moving out. Some of my fellow neighbors have moved out already. I did not like the idea of living somewhere and having to move out. So although I started construction in 2007 and I had a roof here by 2009, I did not move here until just before the COVID in 2020.
Okay.
That's when, I said, if I have to move, I will move. But as you can see, we raised the road sufficiently that they can stay here. And you see, so that you understand, I'm able to say because I have power, because I have solar panels, because of the low panels of our panel, we have taken the foot of the transformer, and you cannot get Ikeja Electric to do anything for you. They don't have money.
You guys are on your own.
Yeah, exactly.
Your electricity, your water. Because I even saw this outside water. Yes.
Okay, you saw somebody with the wheelbarrow.
Yes.
Okay.
I even sat on one to be able to pass through.
It's okay. So that you have seen how it is, and all of these things can be taken care of very easily. But everybody,
if government truly cares.
Well, whether government cares or not, they have a responsibility to the people. I mean, it's not people don't turn their face away. Because I will now say something which may surprise you.
All right, sir.
In 2017, the Lagos State government called a stakeholder summit for 2 days. Everybody from all over Nigeria was there. The Nigeria Hydrological Service, which Ogunwosun likes to refer to, and NIMET, they were there for 2 days. Lagos State government, organized by the Ministry of Environment. But ever since then, it's as though the event never took place. Because the basic recommendation of that stakeholder summit was that the Ogunwosun should operate the dam in the manner of the 1990s.
Okay.
Very simple. That is, you release water to make the reservoir almost empty, and then you backfill so that the flood effect will be minimized. It's a very simple concept. The water has become much more, so that you understand. Last year, there was 700 million cubic meters released during October, and the capacity is only 270. So of course, even if you remove, if let's say they can store the 270, you have another 430 million cubic meters that they have to send down to us. And so of course,
this will be
no, of course there is flood because of the volume. Last year there was a lot of water, but this year, between mid of July and sometime in August, there was little or no rain.
So why do we still have?
No, what did they do? They closed the gates of the dam. They didn't allow the water through. That's part of why we have a problem, because of the fish. They save the water for the fish, and then they tell us they have been releasing 1,700 million cubic meters, 1.7 billion cubic meters since they started in March. What benefit is that to somebody? If suddenly you start now, what brought this about is about 19 million cubic meters a day. And as I've told you, once it gets to 10 million cubic meters a day, the water flows under the Long Bridge, and it starts coming this way. This is the effect of 19 million cubic meters of water a day that they have released. But there was less rain this year. Last year, they sent 25 million cubic meters a day that caused this flood. This year, when there's much less rain, they are sending 19. So why? Because they shut the gates earlier. And it's very simple, as I've said. They've been told that for the size they have, if they cannot use, if the only place they can use is Oyo Dam, they can't use Ikere Gorge, they should lower the water in the reservoir to 49 meters above sea level. You see, the bottom of the gate is 56 meters above sea level. The top of the gate is 63 meters above sea level. That is 7 meter height of the gate. But lower it another 7 meters below. And then you have about 14 meters that you can fill. And that way, what they are sending down will be less. But no, they will fill it all up, and then they're telling you that they are doing some magic. And that's the result of the magic. They simply continue to flood us.
I'm wondering how come you are so knowledgeable about this?
I told you something. You see this particular concrete slab, the second one there. On a Friday afternoon in 2007 August, we cast 30 of this. That's what is supposed to be across there and across there. I didn't need all the 30. That's why this one is up there.
Okay.
On Saturday morning, I could not reach here, even in rain boot. my guardian had to move to that building there overnight when the water came. And so, of course, I had to ask myself, how do we solve this problem? And so I've been following. It happened that because of some of the work I do, during 2006 I got some information. The information I told you that between 1992 and 2002 there was no flood. I got all the information about water releases that was done by Ogun during that period. I have it officially, so I could see what they were doing. And with my own money, I purchased rainfall data from NIMET and plotted it. And I could see that there's a 4-year cycle. Every 4 years, there's the big rainfall that causes the big flood. And very simple, 2007, it happens in 2010, but 2011, 2015, 2019, 2023, and we should look forward to 2027. It's coming. Because look, this is, as I've said, it's only 5 inches difference. So if somebody decides to send more water, of course, I mean, we'll be flooded. It's no more than that.
Well, thank you so much for the information you've given to us. So, well, right about now, what can we say other than for us to urge the government to quickly swing into action to contain the situation? Like he said, 2027, we're going to be having another election in Nigeria, and I hope that we'll be able to do something before that time. Let's not wait until the residents here begin to take government to court. Well, from Isheri
North, GRA.
Isheri North GRA, between Lagos and Ogun State, I'm Adenike Oweya Jiboye, reporting for Super Screen News. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Well, yes, you have heard from Dr. Omigbodun there. That is quite explicit, and it's also interesting. I just hope that both government, governor of Lagos State and governor of Ogun State can actually sit down and watch and listen to what Dr. has said, so that they can quickly swing into action to avoid another a disaster, basically, because it said that the flood is coming in 2027. We never can say what the level of damage that the flooding would cause. But before that, let something be done quickly to stop such occurrence. So this as well will draw the curtain on this week's edition of Super Eye. Many thanks for watching. I am Adenike Oweya Ajiboye, and I just wish a resident of Isheri North the very best, and I will also, like the pastor will say, we will be praying with you that you get a relief. Well, this is how we call it today on Super Eye. Bye-bye.